Princess Elizabeth's wedding to Philip Mountbatten in November 1947 was an amazing spectacle. The streets were lined with hundreds of thousands of people, and millions of people listened to the wedding on their radio. It really acted as a wonderful bit of colour in the horrific aftermath of the Second World War. We're here with this amazing piece of fashion history, this wonderful bridesmaid's dress made by the celebrated royal couturier Sir Norman Hartnell for the wedding of Princess Elizabeth and the Duke of Edinburgh. It is one of 8 bridesmaids' dresses made by Norman Hartnell for that event. The dress was worn by Lady Elizabeth Lambart, later Longman. Lady Elizabeth Lambart, who was the daughter of the Earl and Countess of Cavan, existed in a now almost lost world of interwar aristocratic privilege. She grew up very much in the orbit of the royal family, and she knew Princess Elizabeth from an early age. They attended the same dance school, they attended the same girls' guide pack, the Buckingham Palace Girls' Guide Pack, and I imagine it would have been a wonderful honour to serve as a bridesmaid at the royal wedding. It's hard to imagine now, but Britain in 1947 is a pretty bleak place. There's austerity, there's still rationing, and there was a great worry about how this wedding could even take place with the constraints that were there at the time. The government had made it very clear that this needed to be a spectacle after the Second World War. In the run-up to the wedding, Norman Hartnell didn't have very long to make the dresses, and he did this in secret. In his studio on Bruton Street, he even whitewashed the windows to avoid them being photographed by paparazzi in an opposite building. And he really employed his studio, and in particular a woman called Flora Ballard helped design the embroidery not only for the royal wedding dress but also the bridesmaids' dresses. And actually they're crafted quite cleverly. There's not actually huge amounts of fabric, but it was all about the effect of how they looked and how they were seen as the bridesmaids walked down the aisle. On the dress there are naturalistic symbols of lilies and flower heads, and it was very much influenced by the past as well as looking forward. There are influences from Botticelli's Primavera and high Victorian fashions, and you really see the naturalistic elements and the delicacy that comes across in the dresses. It's just so amazingly beautiful. The tiny waist, the incredible detail on the flowers, and the sense of movement in the dress is just astonishing. It's such a delicate dress, and the amazing way it's crafted really shows off that elegant, willowy figure she had. Fascinatingly, this dress has only been worn twice, once by Lady Elizabeth Lambart in 1947 at the royal wedding, but more recently by Kate Moss. Lady Elizabeth was staying in a house where Kate Moss was doing a photo shoot, and they managed to persuade her to put on the brilliant bridesmaid's dress, and it looked fantastic on her. There's some wonderful images which just show these two worlds colliding, of this sort of old pre-war aristocratic world and the modern popular culture world. This dress is special in many ways. It's a piece of fashion history, it's a piece of royal history, but most importantly, it's an incredible survivor. It's a beautiful piece of craftsmanship and design from one of the most important events of royal history in the 20th century.